Exhilarating, difficult, and addictive are three of the many words that can describe rock climbing. Some say that it's a hobby, some say it's a passion, and some even say that it's a lifestyle. So today we're going to be talking about my favorite hobby, rock climbing. I'm going to inform you about three different types of climbing called top roping, bouldering, and lead climbing. And then I'm also going to inform you about the types of gear that go into those types of climbing. Pictured here is Adam Ondra. He's a famous rock climber known for climbing the route called Silence, one of the most difficult routes ever climbed. So first, the definition of what rock climbing is. It's the sport or activity of climbing rock faces, especially with the aid of ropes and special equipment. Pictured here is Alex Honnold. He's a famous free soloist, meaning that when he climbs, he doesn't climb with ropes. So this is by far the most dangerous type of climbing because, for example, he's climbing El Capitan in Yosemite National Park here. That's a 3,000 foot rock face. So if he were to fall, you can imagine what's going to happen. Here we have our first type of climbing called top roping. Top roping is when the rope is anchored at the top of the route and the climber climbs towards that anchor while on belay. Here we have our climber, and here we have our belayer. The belayer is using a device that I'm going to go over later in the gear portion of this. So he is keeping the rope tight as the climber gets higher on the wall. So if he isn't doing his job correctly and leaves too much slack in the rope, your climber is going to have a bigger fall leading to possible injuries. Our second type of climbing that I want to inform you about today is called bouldering. Bouldering usually only takes you as high as you're comfortable jumping from. So it could take you 15 or maybe 20 feet off the ground, and it requires the least amount of gear because you don't need any ropes or carabiners or harnesses. It's just you and your climbing shoes. So it's pretty simple gear-wise. Here we have probably one of the most used types of climbing called lead climbing. It's used on bigger rock faces such as El Capitan, and it's similar to top roping. So top roping, like I said, that rope is clipped in at the top of the wall, but here, instead of at the top, it's clipped in as you go. So you set anchor points, maybe 20 feet apart, and then once you get to those anchor points, you clip in your rope. So this usually leads to bigger falls because, like I was saying, your anchor points could be 20 feet apart. So if you're about to clip into the next anchor point and you slip, you're going to fall 20 feet plus the distance beneath it until a rope catches you. So it could be upwards of 30 or 35 foot falls or maybe even more. Pictured here we have Kevin Jorgensen and Tommy Caldwell. Here they're climbing Pitch 15 on the Dawn Wall. This is a movie on Netflix called The Dawn Wall. It's a great movie, I'd highly suggest it. These two climbers are outstanding and their achievements are unbelievable. So general equipment that we use when we're rock climbing. First, we have climbing shoes. I have one here. These are used in every type of climbing. Every type of climbing you see they're gonna be using climbing shoes. So they're pretty stiff, as you can see, they don't bend very much. They have a stiff rubber sole and they're very grippy, and they have a point on the toe. So they're very grippy, that way you can put your foot on little divots in the rock and expect your foot to stick. Next we have a harness, which is here. Your belayer and the climber are both going to have harnesses. You need this in top roping and lead climbing. So you're going to clip in the rope onto your harness, and that's what's going to keep you safe. Next we have a belay device, which is right here. I also have one right here. This is called a gree-gree. So what this does is you feed the rope through right here, and as the climber's climbing, if they were to slip, this mechanism right here is going to pinch the rope and not allow the rope to slide through it anymore. So it'll stop the rope and stop your climber. Next we have a rope, which is in the right corner there. That's a dynamic rope. Climbers always use dynamic ropes because they have a stretch to them. So if you're falling 20 feet, you want the rope to absorb some of your fall. Whereas the other type of rope called static, if you were to fall 20 feet on that, it's going to stop you because it doesn't stretch. So it could lead to possible injuries because you're going to have an abrupt fall rather than a slow absorbed fall. Next we have a chalk bag, which is right here. That's just to keep your hands dry. So if you're grabbing onto ledges that are the width of a quarter, you need as much grip and friction as you can, so you don't want your hands to slip off. Lastly, we have a carabiner right there. I have one right here too. These are different than the cheap ones that you can buy from Walmart where you just push open. These are called 3-stage carabiners because it takes 3 actions to open it. So as you can see, you have to push it up, twist it, and then push it in. It's an extra safety precaution. These carabiners can hold well over a ton of weight, so they're very strong and very durable to climb on. So the 3 types of climbing I informed you about today were top roping, bouldering, and lead climbing. They each require their own skill sets. As you can tell, bouldering, like I said, takes you maybe 20 feet off the ground. In lead climbing, you can be climbing 3,000, 4,000 foot rock faces. So if you're climbing 20-foot faces, it's going to be a lot different than climbing 1,000-foot faces. So you can't necessarily just transfer your skills right over. So I hope you were able to learn more about rock climbing today and the different types and the different gear. So thank you for your time.